What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about the 2026 Hall of Fame basketball class, because it's actually a pretty good one. I'm not going to lie to you. It's pretty interesting. You got a couple of good names up here. I'm a little biased on a few of them, but let's talk about them, shall we? So we got nine, entities, let's say that, because it's not just people. It's not just people. So we got Candace in no specific order. We have Candace Parker, Mike D'Antoni, Elena Delle Donne, Amar'e Stoudemire, Doc Rivers, the 1996 women's gold medal team, Chamique Holdsclaw, Mark Few, and Joey Crawford. Now, ranking these individuals, these entities, in order from 1 to 9, we'll start off with number 1. We have the 1996 U.S. Women's Olympic team. Now, this one is important because it's the catalyst for the creation and growth of the current WNBA. Like, we had historic dominance and global visibility for women's basketball. Now, to be clear, this team boasted players like Lisa Leslie, Katrina McClain, Cheryl Swoops, Ruthie Bolton-Holdfield, Nikki McCrae, Teresa Edwards, Venus Lacey, Jennifer Azzi, Dawn Staley, Rebecca Lobo, Carla McGee, and Katie Stedding. So you heard some names right there for sure. But some of these names also impacted some of the players that we've watched today. Literally, some of these players, like Dawn Staley, has impacted South Carolina's team. She was on the team during 1996. Lisa Leslie, the first woman to dunk. Who was number 2? Candace Parker. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl Swoops, one of the dominant forces that we've seen in the game. Rebecca Lobo, and analysts nowadays. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here a couple of impactful players. But most importantly, the way that this USA Women's Olympic team was able to display their talents in front of the world, that speaks volumes. So again, I have them number 1 on my list. If you don't, okay, cool. But this was my number 1 off book. Now, number 2, we have Candace Parker. Now, her influence could be viewed as higher than the 1996 U.S. Women's Olympic team. But I don't think it is. Now, granted, Candace Parker is one of my favorite players of all time. She helped me win $20 when I said that her at Tennessee was going to beat Stanford in 2008, because I had lost money because I thought that D Rose was going to end up winning against Kansas, and daggone it, Kansas lost. They were close though. Too bad it's ain't horseshoes. But Candace Parker, since college days, has been one of my favorite players. Then my Sparks ended up drafting her number 1. Now, to be clear, she's one of the most complete players ever, boasting an MVP, multiple MVPs, multiple titles, and a DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. This is a cultural icon who has helped elevate the WNBA's visibility. So in 1996, the team did it, helped put them on the map. But Candace Parker has been doing it not by herself, but by herself, she's helped put more eyes on the WNBA. She had a unique skill set, being able to play make combined with her size, and she redefined women's basketball. This is the 2-time MVP, 3-time WNBA champ, 7-time All-Star, 10-time All-WNBA, again, like I said, DPOY, and a 2-time All-Defensive, along with a bunch of other awards that we can talk about, like the All-Star MVP, 2-time block champ, 3-time total rebound champ, assist champ, Rookie of the Year, Finals MVP. Like, that's a lot on the resume, ladies and gentlemen. And to be clear, she did this in 13 seasons, averaging 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks on 48% from the field, 33% from the 3, and 77% from the free throw line. She's both an all-time great and a transformational figure. So Candace Parker at number 2, I wanted to put her at number 1. But I thought the U.S. Olympic team deserved to be higher than Candace Parker because, again, a team is higher than one individual. So, again, I just got to say that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Candace Parker, number 2. I don't have a gripe if you put her number 1, but for me, she's number 2. Now, number 3 on this Hall of Fame list. And, again, Candace Parker could easily get a bucket. Like I said, she was transforming the game. Elena Delle Donne is my 3rd. Now, she redefined what a stretch forward was in women's basketball. And to be clear, there were only a few, it was only Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne, and Breanna Stewart, where I was like, those players are the best players in the game during that time. We could talk about Diana Taurasi. She's been called the GOAT for sure. Candace Parker has been viewed as some people's GOAT for sure. Elena Delle Donne during that instance, was one of a few players where I looked at and said, dag, as a Candace Parker fan / stan, Elena Delle Donne might be better. Again, during stretches. Like I saw Elena Delle Donne when she was at Delaware. I went to George Mason as my alum, and I saw Elena Delle Donne play in college, like in person. I was able to put eyes on her, and I saw right then and there, she's different. Oh, she's different. And having 2 MVPs, a champion, one of the most efficient scorers ever. We're talking about a 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-WNBA, a scoring champ, and a Rookie of the Year, over 10 seasons, boasting a 20 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.4 blocks. On 48% from the field, 39% from the three, and 94% from the free throw line. That is scary high. That is ridiculous. So again, peak dominance plus the skill evolution puts her high on my regard. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if she had a little bit longer of play, we might be talking about EDD a little bit differently. And she was injured during her career, too. We got to note that. And also, she left her Chicago Sky team that drafted her to go play closer to where her younger sister was, who her younger sister was a little sick. Like, ladies and gentlemen, EDD and number 3, intangibles on and off the field, on and off the court, matter. And I'm sure there are ladies in the WNBA, hell, even players in the in the NBA that are trying to be just as efficient as Elena Delle Donne. Now, number 4 for me, Chamique Holdsclaw. Now, she had early WNBA superstar status. And she is a college legend for Tennessee. Tennessee is really winning right now in terms of this 2026 Hall of Fame class. She was... Yeah, she helped establish the league's foundation because she was one of them early superstars. 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-WNBA, a scoring champ, 2-time total rebound, and a Rookie of the Year. Over 11 seasons, boasting 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, and 0.5 blocks on 44% from the field, 26% from the three-point line, 79% from the free throw line. She is historically important. Although her peak and impact are slightly below someone like a Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne, she still matters to the game of basketball. We're talking about two-way studs who could get a bucket. Again, Elena Delle Donne could get a bucket. Candace Parker could get a bucket. Chamique Holdsclaw could get a bucket, but at the same time stop somebody. So could Candace Parker. So their defense might be a little bit better than Elena's. But all 3 of them could easily get a bucket at an elite level and were considered WNBA superstars. So you might even see some of the WNBA players trying to form their game after Chamique Holdsclaw. So again, in terms of historical importance, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got to give Chamique some love, all right? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and go on down to number 5. Because we got to talk about here Mike D'Antoni. Now, Mike D'Antoni, yes, he has not won a championship. Yes, he might not care about defense. You might even call him Mike Antoni because his teams don't have no D. But he still revolutionized the game of basketball. The modern style of basketball, remember Mike D'Antoni's philosophy was 7 seconds or less in terms of on offense. That has directly influenced today's pace and space. That the three-point heavy era of NBA, that ties directly to Mike D'Antoni. We give him that one for sure. Like Steph Curry has made the three-point shot more popular, but it originated with Mike D'Antoni. And that philosophy that helped shape today's NBA era, it can't go unnoticed. Again, when you're talking about the way people are playing, there's a case for why I should move Mike D'Antoni a little bit higher. Because again, even his pace of play impacts the WNBA to a degree too. So again, like I'm tempted to move Mike a little bit higher, possibly past a Chamique Holdsclaw, possibly past an Elena Delle Donne. I might even want to do it higher than Candace Parker because again, Mike's philosophy has molded how we view players, how we view people. Hell, his philosophy might have helped get Steve Nash an MVP or 2. It might have helped get James Harden an MVP because he did coach them during 2005 and 2017. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Mike D'Antoni, we can talk about him, we can berate and critique him all we want to, but his philosophies still live on in today's game of basketball. So again, Mike D'Antoni at number 5. He has an argument for going a little bit higher, but I have him at number 5 because again, I think the other players and entities were fairly important to the game of basketball. Now, number 6, I have Doc Rivers. We still got to remember, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now this is a NBA champion, top 10 all times in coaches winning. Okay, he's a key figure in player empowerment. All right, remember the Boston Celtics Big Three. Technically, I feel like they were kind of empowered, but at the same time, that was still during an era where coaches had to listen to their players a little bit more. Back in the day, it was players had to listen to their coaches. Then we started switching how the game of basketball was played. Now, as an NBA player, Doc Rivers, over 13 seasons, boasted 11 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists on 1.8 steals, 0.4 blocks, on 44% from the field, 33% from the three-point line, 78% from the free throw line. And as an NBA head coach, he's coached 2,056 total games, boasting a 58% win record, winning 1,193 games and losing 863. That's not bad. His longevity and his leadership are very impactful and rememberable. Now, yes, he's lost some. He's been up 3-1 in a couple of series, and he's lost those. I get you. He has been less innovative than someone like a Mike D'Antoni, but very important and very impactful nonetheless. Doc Rivers, I deem as a quality head coach. Has he had some hiccups? Yes. But again, quality head coach nonetheless. So again, Doc Rivers, number 6 for me. Now, number 7, we got to go Mark Few. All right, now Mark Few is the head coach for Gonzaga Bulldogs in college. Okay, he's been with Gonzaga. Mark Few has been with Gonzaga for a few seasons, or maybe should we say a few decades, because he's been there since 1999. That's about 27 seasons right there. Now, he's turned Gonzaga into somewhat of a national powerhouse. Like, we remember Gonzaga doing pretty well for quite some time. No, they have not won a championship, but they have sustained excellence dating all the way back to 1999. He's been fairly impactful since then. Over that 27 years, his team has won in their conference regular season champs 23 out of the 27 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. He's played a total of 929 games and boasting an 83% win rate. That's dumb, stupid high. Winning 773 games and only losing 156, that's pretty spectacular. So from a college standpoint, he has a massive college impact to the point that somebody might even want to take him off Gonzaga's hands as an NBA organization because he's been doing that well. Again, has not won a championship, but he could be one of the players, one of the coaches that helped lead an NBA organization to a championship. Maybe. But he's been less influential to the game of basketball than someone like a Mike D'Antoni, maybe even a Doc Rivers as well, too. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we can't ignore his impact to the college game of basketball. We've seen him coach someone like a Drew Timme, like a Jalen Suggs, a Chet Holmgren even recently. Like, we've seen Buddy do pretty well and improve in the recruiting rankings and keep his team in play. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Few, he's one of the few to be listed in this Hall of class, in this Hall of Fame class, and it's well deserved. So I leave Mark Few at number 7. Now, number 8, I got Amar'e Stoudemire. Hear me out, ladies and gentlemen, because we've already talked about Mike D'Antoni and how his teams didn't really have defense. They weren't defensive centered. However, they went decently far during their run. Well, Amar'e Stoudemire was fairly central to the Suns' offensive revolution and team overall. Yes, he had Steve Nash. Yes, Steve Nash was the MVP. Amar'e Stoudemire could have potentially won MVP as well, too, ladies and gentlemen. He was that impactful. Matter of fact, hell, when he went on to the Knicks, he looked like he could have been an MVP candidate himself. Matter of fact, I think he was an MVP candidate when he went on to the Knicks. So imagine a healthy Amar'e Stoudemire paired with Steve Nash, and then eventually Carmelo Anthony. The big time player. He was an elite scorer and pick and roll finisher. I remember watching him versus Tim Duncan. And I was thinking, damn, Amar'e might be able to take Tim Duncan. He played that well, a 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, and a Rookie of the Year, over 14 seasons, boasting 19 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.8 steals, and 1.2 blocks on 54% from the field, 24% from the three-point line, 76% from the free throw line. Amar'e Stoudemire, very important player. Sometimes viewed as a beneficiary to the system, but I think Buddy was not as beneficial, or he wasn't as much of a beneficiary as much of a supporting, important player. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, when he went to the Knicks, he was viewed as the MVP candidate before he gets injured. So again, Amar'e Stoudemire, I think a lot of teams would love to have an Amar'e Stoudemire on their team right now. Some people are still looking for that Amar'e Stoudemire caliber player, a pick and roll big who could defend, solid rim protection. I'd like him on my squad personally right now. And he's shooting pretty decent from the free throw line. I don't need the 3-pointers much. I don't. Not from my center. It can be cool, but again, he did what was needed to do. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Amar'e Stoudemire, number 8. I ain't mad at him. And then to round out this class, ladies and gentlemen, we got number 9, Joey Crawford. Okay. Now, Joey might be one of the more notable refs that we remember in the game of basketball, okay? I personally remember him. I think he had a couple of issues, scandals, if you will. Apparently, he got suspended. But one of my favorite impactful moments was when he gave Tim Duncan a technical simply for sitting on the bench and laughing. Like, that was one of my most memorable moments of Joey Crawford. But outside of that, he has reffed or officiated over 2,500 plus games and 50 finals. That's a lot. That is a lot. So he's a legendary referee who, at minimum, people can remember. And I can honestly say it's not because of his scandals per se, but more so because of the longevity, which speaks to how good of a referee you are. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if you crappy, we're not trying to watch you too much. We're not. Referees can get slandered, especially nowadays. And Joey Crawford lasted a good bit in terms of refereeing the NBA. So again, Joey Crawford, quality ref, lasted a good bit of years. Tip my cap to you, buddy. Can we talk about overly impactful? But the longevity nonetheless speaks volumes. And that's why he's my last person to list on the 2026 Hall of Fame class. So again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does conclude the end of the episode. And again, to recap, I had the 1996 U.S. Women's Olympic team as number 1. Candace Parker as number 2. In terms of rankings, by the way, Elena Delle Donne, number 3. Chamique Holdsclaw at number 4. Mike D'Antoni as number 5. Doc Rivers is number 6. Mark Few is number 7. Amar'e Stoudemire is number 8. And Joey Crawford is number 9. That's the listing in order for me of the 2026 Hall of Fame class. But I'm curious, ladies and gentlemen, what's y'all listing? In terms of importance, I'm curious. Impact on the game, innovation and influence, peak dominance and accolades, longevity and legacy, global and cultural significance. I want to know what's y'all ranking of the listing. And do you feel like someone got shortchanged off this list? I am curious. I want to hear y'all thoughts. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like I said, that does conclude the end of the episode. So please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone who's anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. I hope you are all having a good one. Take care.